call this meeting to order, roll call.
Rick Van Winkle. Here. Mary Jane Thomas.
Here.
Joe Bartle's absent. Me.
Roll call.
Dallas, absent. Gene Davis.
Here.
Okay, has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from the June meeting? Is there any changes or additions to the minutes?
No, I make a motion we approve the minutes.
I second it.
Roll call.
Rick Van Winkle.
Yes.
Mary Jane Thomas.
Yes.
Dallas, right here. Gene.
Here.
I'll
No.
go to. Earl Mullins, yes.
Everyone had a chance to look at the warrants and payroll time sheets. Is there any questions on the warrants and payroll time sheets?
No, I make a motion we approve the warrants and payroll time sheets.
Second.
Roll call.
Rick Van Winkle.
Yes.
Mary Jane
Yes.
Thomas. Gene Davies.
Yes.
Earl Mullins, yes.
Need a motion to approve the interest or the transfer of police revenue from general fund to police fund.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Rick Van Winkle.
Yes.
Mary Jane Thomas.
Yes.
Gene Davies.
No.
Earl Mullins, yes.
Need a motion to approve the police fund monthly transfer of $7,100.
We just done that.
No,
Oh,
okay.
no, okay. I make a motion we approve those monthly transfers.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Rick Van Winkle.
Yes.
Mary Jane
Yes.
Thomas. Gene Davies.
Yes.
Earl Mullins, yes.
Need a motion to approve the June interest transfers.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Rick Van Winkle.
Yes.
Mary Jane Thomas.
Yes.
Gene Davies.
Yes.
Earl Mullins, yes.
Next on the agenda is Matt Hoffman. He represents Aflac Insurance Company. And he wanted to make a little presentation to us tonight. Matt, the floor is yours.
Again, I'm Matt Hoffman, we're representing Aflac, coming in to ask permission to speak to the town employees about Aflac. It provides insurance for them, supplemental insurance, works well with your health coverage. And what it does, it pays cash to the employee at no cost to the town. It's 100% employee paid. We keep the rates really low, usually around an hour's worth of wage a week. Again, I'm just requesting permission to come in and speak to them.
Make a motion that Matt can come in and speak to them if that's what needs to be
It's
done.
up to them, yeah.
Yeah.
If
They can
want,
either
they
tell
can
you
do it.
yes
Yes
or
or
no.
no? Yeah, they can tell me yes or no. And again, the only thing that I guess the town would be out is we ask it's payroll deducted, and it takes a couple minutes. So
But the town's not going to pay any of it,
No.
right?
nope,
Okay.
it's totally up to the
Employee.
employee.
Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Mm-hmm.
Rick made a second.
I'll
Roll call.
second it. I can't believe you hang out to
Rick Van Winkle.
Yes.
Thanks, Matt.
Mary Jane Thomas.
Yes.
Gene Davies.
That's
Yes.
short.
You go back to
Earl
Anderson.
Mullins, yes.
Anderson, you drove all the way from Anderson?
Yeah, this is part of my district.
Wow.
But I'm here on Mondays. I'm in this
Oh,
area.
okay.
I'll be back Monday.
Have a safe trip
Yeah,
home.
thank you.
See you
It's a
about
long
home.
drive.
Next, Susan Skips. Susan, the floor is yours.
Okay, I just have a couple quick things. One, if you haven't already, and I think I might see it laying on your table there, I should be receiving or have received the grant agreement for the Washington Street Phase 3 project. They were released on July 1st. I did receive the project manager's packet in the mail, I believe, yesterday. So those need to be signed and sent back. That is the 2 blocks of Washington Street. We also, if you remember, we included the water line replacement down here on the end. There's also about $22,000 in that budget for the work on Hutton Street when we were gonna do that water line, which I know has already been done. So there is some extra money in there. That is a prorated grant, which means if you don't use all the money, you don't pay all your share, but they don't give it all to you. So I know, we're going into the next issue would be the project on East Main Street that the county is going to, or has proposed to fund for you. We have a resolution here tonight for you to pass. They kind of have flip-flopped around a little bit. I don't know that you know, they're going to put in 41,000 now instead of 38. They've got extra, more money than what they thought from the state. So they gave you $3,000 more. So your share will be 40,500 of that project, which is that first block of East Main Street. I also talked with Jane a little bit about the fact that since there's some extra money in the grant for public works, if we bid all those together, one, we can probably do the economy of scale thing that brings the price down. And then also we might be able to work it out where it's obviously going to be advantageous to use all of that grant money, because if you're going to lose some of it if you don't pay your whole share. With the CDBG grant, if they give you 41,000 in the project, it comes up $10,000 short, you keep the 10,000, they still give you the 41. So if we can kind of combine the two projects, possibly next year, I think, we serve two purposes. One, we have the bigger project to get it done a little cheaper, because you'll be doing more sidewalk. That sidewalk could possibly come in cheaper because of the quantity that you're doing. And then two, we could probably do some things with the money so that maybe your share wouldn't be quite as much. And if we do it right and kind of back off on the East Main Street project, we could potentially keep some of that money. I don't know that for sure, but it's a possibility. And so I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. So you do have a resolution to pass putting forth $40,500 towards the East Main Street Phase 1 project. And I think, did Jane give me that? I can send that down there, too. It looks like this. If you don't have.
40,500, Kiss County, nobody right at 41,000.
Right, exactly. And I sent there it is, the resolution. I need to have that to the county. I need to mail to them tomorrow. They were supposed to have it by July 1st, but because you guys weren't having a meeting, I called and kind of asked for special permission. So now we don't have to have it there till July 11th, but I'd like to try to get it in the mail so that Kim can have it timely. Here's, let's see.
Have you got it?
Yes, I do. This would be Resolution 2011-02.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2011-02 for the next phase of Worcester Street project,
East Main Street.
East Main Street, and well, we're going to buy it. Yeah, East Main.
Is there a second on that motion?
Oh, I second it.
Roll call.
Rick Van Winkle? Yes.
Mary Jane Thomas?
Yes.
Gene Davies?
Yes.
Earl Walters?
Yes. I make a motion that we waive the 3 regular rule and passes the emergency. Resolution 2011-02.
Is there a second on that motion? Okay. Roll call.
Rick Van Winkle?
Yes.
Mary Jane Thomas?
Yes.
Gene Davies?
Yes.
Earl Walters?
Yes.
You can do it for Earl.
Earl.
I don't think you're
Yeah,
Earl.
Earl, you
Sorry.
Susan.
Earl. Lord. God, I do, buddy. Bring something off.
I hope that means I don't have to sit in his chair.
Wow. I'm sorry, Susan.
The only other thing I have
That's
to talk
gonna
to you
go a
about
long way, you know that.
has to do with this year's issue 2. They did have a meeting on June 17th. The county engineer had a meeting in regards to it like he always does. We do have West Cherry Street Phase 1 in the hopper or in the pipeline. It won't be considered for funding this year, but if we keep it in the pipeline, it will be considered next year in 2012 for funding in 2013. It consists of storm sewer from Washington Street all the way down to the outlet. And then it also includes 550 feet of driveway approach, curb, sidewalk, that kind of thing, from Washington to Jefferson. Phase 2 would then be from Jefferson so that your match didn't have to be as high. The only thing we really need to do now is just, if you want to keep it in the pipeline, is we just need to resubmit it like it was. There's no reason to put any time, effort, money into doing anything with it at this point, just simply because we're gonna have to do it again next year. So in order to keep the cost, down to all we really need to do is print it out, re-sign some things and send it in. That's all we need to do this year to keep it in the pipeline, if you so choose. So I guess I just the applications are due August 1st, and I think your meeting in August is that evening. So there won't be another meeting before the applications would be submitted. So I guess I just need some direction from you, if you want to keep it in the pipeline, you don't want to keep it in the pipeline, if how much we're doing, that's what I'm asking. So,
Well, at this point, it doesn't hurt anything to keep it in the pipeline, so I think we should.
I agree.
your share of this project was $71,000. It was a $271,000 total project with a grant, request of $200,000. So, if it's something that come next year, you feel like the 71 is just more than what you can handle because we did Washington meets Maine, and we want to try to bump it back a year, I'm sure we can do that, and ask to just have it bumped back a year versus starting over. I think Steve will, probably be understanding of that. So that's, another option. Next year, you're in a position that financially you can't handle the match. So I guess I just, maybe you could maybe pass a motion to
I make a motion that we keep
just resubmit.
the West Cherry Street project in the loop for future possibilities of grant
With
I'll
issue two.
second.
with issue 2.
Roll call.
Rick Van Winkle.
Yes.
Mary Jane Thomas.
Yes.
Gene Davies.
Yes.
Earl Mullins. Yes.
I'll get the paperwork together and then I'll get it with Jane and then she can call you and have you sign the application. And we don't have to pass any resolutions or anything like that because we're just putting it in the pipeline. That's all I have.
Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome, thank you.
Committee reports, safety, chief.
So the police department handled 121 calls for service in June. We took 25 reports, made 6 arrests, issued 14 citations, 20 warnings, and impounded 1 vehicle. So far today, we've spent $5,076.58, which is 72% of our $7,000 fuel expenditure for 2011. The only other thing I have on my list is you all have a copy of ordinance number 2011-10, which is an ordinance to prohibit the sale, possession, exchange, distribution of any synthetic drug, more commonly known as, you've heard of the K2, the bath salts, stuff like that, that is, it's running throughout our village now, it's across the state. The governor actually has an ordinance on his desk to sign that will ban this stuff throughout the state. However, the ordinance has been there since last Wednesday that I know of, and once he signs it, it takes another 90 days before it goes into effect, before it's actual law. By passing this ordinance tonight, that creates a village ordinance that makes it effect immediately for us. So what we can do, this stuff's being sold in town, it's being sold up to Marathon Station. I stopped in there on my way home one day, they had 29 jars of it, which is just a little jar about this tall here, that has enough powder on the bottom of it to not even cover the bottom of it. They're selling it for $21.75 a bottle. They had 29 bottles of it at 3 o'clock when I left town. I came in the next day, they had 4. They got 2 cases of it in this week. I stopped up there this morning, they're totally out of it. We're getting reports of a guy here in town buying it and splitting the bottles up and selling it to kids for $10 a shot. The officers are running into it pretty much on a nightly basis. We've had a girl that broke her leg. She's on it, didn't even know her leg was broke. We've had a person that's standing in the middle of the woods, talking to trees, thinking it was relatives.
Yeah.
it makes you really suicidal, makes you have hallucinations. Our EMS people are running into it. They've called our assistants a few times when they've dealt with grown adult men that have taken this stuff, and it's just made them so combative that, they want to fight with the EMS personnel, stuff like that.
I know in my stint while I was in the hospital last week, I asked the doctors over there at ER, how many cases are they seeing of this coming in? They're saying about the average of 6 a day.
Right.
Oh, my God.
In 2010,
And they're completely lose their mind.
right,
Done.
right. In 2010, there were 6 reported cases in Ohio, total state. So far this year in Ohio, there's 434 that have actually been reported to a hospital.
Yeah.
And, we're running into it every night on cases that don't get reported. So my request is that council reviews this. I would suggest that you read it by title only because you.
Why don't you do that?
You pretty much.
Why don't you do
Yeah,
that?
thanks.
Go ahead.
You pretty much got to be a chemist to understand it. I have forwarded it to Jeff Amick. He has reviewed it. He said to go with it. It's an untried ordinance, which the governor's ordinance is going to be the same way. This will get us through where, we can go up there, we can get this stuff off our street.
As I understand it, that since he owns several other stations in Indiana, and they banned it, he cleared theirs, counted out and brought them.
Right. He also owns the Swifty stations, from what I was told, in Indiana. They banned it in Indiana last week. So
And
all
it
their
came over
stock,
here.
all their stock from over there came to this station, and the clerks over there are telling everybody that comes in and asks for it that they need to come over here to get it. So-
Well, are you telling us that if we sign this tonight,
It goes
That-
to
It's
a
done.
tomorrow you can clear the shelves off?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
I was up at what my original plans were, and I'll be totally honest with you, that as soon as the mayor signed this tonight, I was gonna go up there and confiscate every bit they have.
That's fine with me.
However, I stopped in there today,
They
and
don't
they're out of
have
it.
any. Are they
So-
saying they're out of it?
Well, so tomorrow morning, I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna present this to the owner, and if there's anything there at that point, we're gonna take it.
Can you use this as a search warrant?
Not as a
No.
search warrant, no.
No, okay.
Would you go ahead and read that title on
Okay. Okay, ordinance number 2011-10, prohibiting the manufacture, possession, use, exchange, sale, and distribution of synthetic cathinones, more commonly known as K2, K3, etc., and other synthetic drugs and their derivative and substituted forms as amended and declaring an emergency. That's part one. Part two is a little farther down under section 1, prohibiting the manufacturing, possession, use, exchange, sale, and distribution of synthetic
Staff.
Cannabinoids.
synthetic cathinones, more commonly known as bath salts, and other synthetic drugs and their derivatives and substituted forms as amended and declaring an emergency.
I make the motion, we approve this ordinance 2011-10.
Second.
Roll call.
Rick Van Winkle.
Yes.
Mary Jane Thomas.
Yes.
Gene Davies.
Yes.
Earl Walters. Yes.
Make a motion that we pass ordinance 2011-10 as a mercy and pass the 3 ruling rules.
Second.
Roll call.
Rick Van Winkle.
Yes.
Mary Jane Thomas.
Yes.
Gene Davies.
Yes.
And Earl Walters. Yes.
So moved. I need you to sign this, Earl. Here. Chief, did you sign this?
I think that's one of the better ordinances that we have read.
Yes.
I mean, if it's that contagious, it'll spread out and do things.
Yeah.
It is. It has been quite a while everywhere.
Here is your ordinance, so signed.
I never heard
I call that.
It's yours, Diana.
What
Thank
it
you
is,
very much.
K2, what it is.
Thanks, Chris.
It's
Thank you.
stuff they put in incense that you burn.
Yeah. That
That's
sounds,
from India.
Building committee,
Nothing?
nothing, streets, Rick,
No.
lights,
We've been contacted by DPNL for an extension Thank you, Susan.
Thanks, Susan.
Thanks, have a good evening.
For a 3-year extension on the street lights, at the current price that we have, I responded to them at this point in time that we're not interested in any contract because we don't know that we're going to have the money, and it looks like we're not going to have the money to pay for it.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to enter into a contract that if we turn them out, we got to pay for anyway. So we're just going to have to play it by the tail and see what we ends up with.
Absolutely. If we do go with the contract, I want that term taken out. where we-
Yeah, I don't like a
Absolutely.
contract that says we can't, if our funds are not here, that we can't turn them out, so.
Absolutely.
And then you also get a situation where if you turn them out, there's legalities too, so I'm not interested in talking to them at this point.
There you go.
We're like, we're gonna have the money to pay it.
Surprise, I agree with you.
Absolutely. Shut them off. Finance, Rick.
No.
Sanitation, Mary Jane.
Oh, I'm still dealing with the house at 301 West Main and trying to get that cleaned up. I didn't get a hold of Perry Johnson about the insurance of getting that cleaned up, but I did talk with his aunt, cousin, whoever, and she said that that house has been repoed and it's under the bank. So, and she just called me today, so tomorrow I'm gonna call the bank, talk with them, then I'm gonna get a hold of Amy, depending on what the bank says, and see if we can't get that torn down and get the grass mowed. I've had several complaints about the grass mowing there, and also up there by where Wysongs used to live. I thought Wysongs still owned that, but they don't, from what I was told, so I have to find out exactly who owns that. And, it's just, people's not wanting to mow their grass, like always.
People don't have the money to buy the gas.
Oh, yeah, they do.
That's
They
cool.
got
Well,
money to
I'm
buy
like you.
cigarettes and beer and all
Well,
that
I'm
stuff.
like you, yeah.
They can
But
keep the
according to
grass.
them, they don't have the money to buy
I
the
know
gas.
they do.
It's called lazy. Okay. Planning, nothing. BPA, no.
Don't
Okay, I'm
forget
gonna give
Jeff.
the floor, I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna give the floor to Jeff Golden, because I know he's here tonight, and he was supposed to be on the agenda.
And I
And due to an
forgot to-
oversight,
I
he
forgot
wasn't
to
there.
call
I want
Jeff.
him to explain this lodging excise tax to us all again, so that we understand that. I know that if we don't do it, the county's gonna do it.
The county will be holding a hearing Monday, 2:30, and it will pass out that on the agenda today, they had Mindy Robbins and Brenda White in there on the, what they needed to do to collect it. This would have passed, they were committed to having a hearing, but Jefferson passed this tax, and as I understand, they don't intend to collect it, so this may be an option here. But they would have passed it last Monday had not Israel Township had an emergency meeting at 7 a.m. and passed it there, because there's $70,000 at stake. It's the biggest duck in the water, if you will. And whoever collects this tax, it's first come, first served. Half of the money goes into the general fund. The other half, if you collect it, has to go to a Convention and Visitors Bureau. Now, 4 years ago, when they came around with the OGDC, they asked for that, the OGDC to be named as a Convention and Visitors. They never told anybody, hey, you can name the New Paris Chamber your Convention and Visitors Bureau. It can be another convention, something else, a nonprofit could be created and be that Convention and Visitors Bureau. There is no representation in the Preble Development Board west of Eaton. There's none here, there's none out in Camden, there's none in Israel. It makes no sense to me to have this tax collected, go there, and then have to ask for money that's collected here to come back here. You may want to restart the Apple Fest, who knows what. The point being is, it's first come, first served. You don't get a second shot after next Monday. It's done with. It's theirs for all time. There could be hotels built here in Fuji, and you never know. New Paris grows, hotels, they're going to collect it on B&Bs now. The cabins at the campgrounds would be affected. There's two different taxes. As a motel in Jefferson, we've been collecting it since 97, I think. That first 3% did that, I spoke to them, and I spoke with Bill the next day, he said, yes, they had done that. But what the thing is, but you will not have another option after this, you would not have had the option this month, had Israel not passed it last Monday morning. It's something I think needs to be done. I would recommend naming the new parish chamber. I think if, for some reason, the Department of Development Board comes up with something that they deem worthwhile, but they can always give money to that. But it's at their leisure and their option. Now, I gave you papers I gave you last time. I spoke to the guy at the Convention Visitors Bureau for the state. He recommended that the chamber, he said, you can just name the chamber. I asked him, he said, you can name the chamber. What he recommended was the chamber set up another nonprofit, and that the village drop a contract, whether it be with the chamber or the Federal Development Board, which obviously I'm not in favor of, but I don't. As to what you expect for that money, and just put a set term on there, so it's not indefinite. So
That's my understanding, it goes to the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce will act as a representative for us. If any money that goes to this would go to the chamber, correct?
Right, and they could spend it to promote tourism.
Growth, tourism,
Yes.
the taxes, the money that you get off the, 3 or 4 taxes they got, or lodges that they've got down at the
How many
resort?
lodges?
How many?
They got one lodge and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 cabins.
Okay, so any money coming from that would go to the Chamber of Commerce, correct?
Half goes,
Half goes to the village, half
half
goes
goes
to
to your general fund, you can.
But absolutely, if we don't do this, then it goes to the county, and the county keeps it.
But Joe brought up a good point a while ago when we was kicking it around here. If New Paris, or if we could annex whenever, if it happens, out on 40.
There's never gonna be an annex.
Well,
Well,
we
maybe
don't
not,
know that.
maybe
but-
not today or tomorrow or in the very near future, but what if down the road, 20 years from now was the tax?
Now,
rate
they might
was-
be able to form a JED and do it that way, but you
But that's,
never.
well, oh, because of the township.
Absolutely, that would be an
Through,
annex.
well, through the JED or whatever, to get the zoning authority and stuff up there, would would that allow us to collect the tax?
Well, yeah, that's.
That would have to be negotiated.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
But it would still help us.
I would.
it's still gonna
Help the
help.
Chamber of
Joe,
Commerce,
I
and the
would
money
say
would go
the
to.
township already has enacted this.
They
Yeah, they already get this, they already get
They're
this.
not going, well, there's 2 taxes.
They did it a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they enacted the second one, they've been collecting the first, I can go straight to the general fund, all of it. The second one, as I understand it, the last I heard, was that they were not going to collect that. Now, if they collect it, half goes to their general fund, and they would have to name a Convention and Visitors Bureau, and I recommended that it be the chamber. Now, I had gone there with the intent of saying, look, they're going to collect this to the township, collect this, and name the chamber. In the interim, Eaton came forward and they had an article in the paper and said they were going to enact this tax, but they weren't going to collect it. They only had a B&B, and they were not going to collect it. So that's what I presented to them, that's what I understand they passed. I wasn't there with it, so I can't, that's what Bill told me, so I'm sure that there's something there. They will be under pressure. The commissioners are going to go to the trustees. If they're on audio, they'll probably come here. This is all part of the problem. None of these visits would have been scheduled to take place, and they're probably not scheduled now, but they will probably be coming here if you pass this. They would not have come had Jefferson not done that, had Israel not done that, had you guys not done that. And I think that speaks volumes as to what you would have been getting had they enacted it.
This also gives us representation on the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission also.
I
Gives a
don't
little
know that.
insight toward that.
I
Yes.
think it does, I don't know that, but
Yes.
go here.
Because you're talking about representation, and this will open the door for what representation on this part of the county,
Well-
rather than all the representation coming out of Eaton.
Well,
Eaton,
yeah.
Eaton. Everything's Eaton.
You look at two things. There's the Preble County Development Board, and we talked about that. But there's another thing that I would like to bring up on a side issue here. Next Monday evening at 5:30, the Farm Bureau will be sponsoring an informational meeting on Goose Creek. The commissioners will have one at 6:30. There will be state representatives there pushing Goose Creek and everything else. If you could show up, because I think you mentioned $3 million is what you needed to get.
3.5.
3.5 million. Well, it's going to be 6, 7 million
Well-
out there.
When Rick and I, we made that little tour with all these individuals, we burnt their ears up about that.
Well,
And the comments from the governor's office was, well, we can help you on that, we'll do that, I'm still waiting for that check.
he is, I haven't heard the audio, according to the Register Herald, he is supporting it. He is catching flack from the Tea Party over that. They don't think they should be spending money out there.
Absolutely.
But my point is, Representative Buki will be there next Monday night to push this for the commissioners. This would be an ideal time for you to show up, say something at the Farm Bureau meeting if you want, and get on Buki. And I don't know who else is going to be there, but I do know as of now, he's scheduled to be there, because I've seen.
Same ones that's been, that we've been burning
Uh,
up for.
Well,
There's a list.
yes, but the thing is, there's going to be more.
But it doesn't hurt to hear it
But we
again.
need
Yeah.
people out
I
there.
got an email from David Wessler today, redirected from Shonda Thomas, with a list of the names and the conversation that's been going on through the governor's office and everybody else about this whole thing. Yeah, it would really be nice if you could be out there. There's going to be some open ears that need to be burned up.
Oh,
And you're good at it.
they don't want to listen to me anymore because I burnt their ears off.
Now,
Hey, burn them again.
as a mayor of
Neil, you need to burn them again.
see, you're talking $3.5 million. They had $1.5 million grant.
Absolutely.
From Camden. So
Absolutely.
for $5 million, you would have had opening along 127 with rail. You would have had exit 156A taken care of.
Absolutely.
Instead, you're spending $7 million, and that's just for water and sewer out there. And the land that the county has an option to buy on is not on 127. If you look at the website, it looks like it is behind the motel. It is behind the pilot. The access road is Hazelwood Drive. That looks like the driveway for the properties there. That's going to be the access road. But this is all for nothing. It has New Paris and Jefferson is our interest.
We've had 3 different ways figured out by our engineer just left on ways to get the water and sewer out there and options that we can do. But like I said, I'm still waiting for that check. I've been fighting for 12 years over this. We're still waiting for that check from the state.
The engineer was in a meeting and he stated, I wonder how this is, just trying to figure out how this is going to affect the other areas of the county or something that affect the villages. Everybody's going to get bumped down the ladder from wanting to go there. So, they may well do this, but the representative has to hear. And as a mayor, you would be an ideal, or councilman, be the ideal people other than myself or Joe here, standing up and saying something, because.
But again, on the same argument,
Huh?
on the same argument about that, you talked about doing that,
Yes.
doing all that. The fact of the matter is that if we don't have an income tax in place,
Yeah.
we
We
cannot do
can't
that.
do it.
Absolutely cannot do that.
And,
Therefore, there will be no growth.
but you do have it now, and,
No.
I'm hearing.
We do not.
Because we do not.
You don't, okay, I thought you
No.
said you already, okay, I thought you already levied it. But it's.
We have several
there's no
individuals that have
There is
petitioned this to be filed.
Income tax out at Coos Creek. They had talked about putting a JED there January 25th last
Mhm.
year. And the reason they didn't is because the economic development people told them, they had companies, the people that make the decisions, the high earners, were moving their companies if an income tax went over 2%, I think is what it was, or 2.5%.
Which
And you got, well, it does, it was 1 3/4. They were wanting to level.
At Eaton.
Yeah, well, it was 1 3/4 with the school tax here. They said, well, we can, the Pinehurst people, I think it was, they said, a 1%, we should be fine. And somebody in the background says, well, does the National Trail have a 1.5? And someone said, no, they've got a 1 3/4. And you hear those state guys go, geez, because then you're at 2 3/4. And that would be making the impact. So that died right there, that, somebody else, why we moving the D, system, they said, no, you can't do that, there's already been legal cases on that, or 1.5, I think, is what they said.
1 3/4 there.
1 3/4 there also.
Because I paid.
But,
Yeah.
but back to the bed tax, if you don't take action on that tonight, you won't get another shot. You would not
Absolutely,
have
I
this
agree.
shot, you would not have
I know,
the
I
shot
understand
that
that.
for Israel Township last week.
This bed tax is 3% or 6%. My understanding is the township already had 3%, but there's another 3% laying out there, and if they didn't act on the other 3%, then the county was gonna get that 3%. And by them acting on it, they passed it, but they're not collecting it. And if they, in the future, they ever collect it, then the county gets 1.5, and they
No.
get, or they get,
If Jefferson decides to collect it at some point, they obviously will.
Part of it goes to economic development.
Yeah, the township keeps 1.5, just like New Paris would. No, the county does not necessarily get 1.5 any more than they would if you levied here. They have the ability, and it's up to the local people in township and around here to hold their feet to the fire if they decide to go with the county. When you have a New Paris chamber, they can be named.
Right, but my understanding is if you decide to act upon that other 3%,
Yeah.
then part of that 3% has to go to economic development.
It has to go to,
You can name half of it to go to chamber, but the other half, if you collect it, has to go, does it not?
no. Here's what I gave you last time. Half has to go to a convention and visitors bureau, not economic
Well,
development. But it is to bring in supposedly more tours.
Well, Shauna's the one jumping up and down about it, she's economic development, so.
And that is where you, when they had them in there, last year, I had Katie Worthington in there to explain it. And I can put it up there, and you can listen to it. It all depends on the wording. You can make things do apparently whatever you want, but the intent of the board, the way it's written, is that it goes to convention and visitors, but it all, they went back and forth, and you can almost hear the wink and the nod in the voices, even though it wasn't video. I know what you're saying as far as economic development, and that's why she wants it, and that's one of the reasons I have an issue with it, because they're under the assumption they're getting half the money from Israel, which is not a done deal from what I understand. So they're gonna hire a part-time person, they voted to put it out for advertisement, 24 hours a week. Part of her pay that is devoted to convention and tourism will be paid for out of this tax, okay? So when they passed that one no conveyance fee in August 2 years ago, that was to be the hire an economic development director to pay for that department. What they're doing now is, if they, when it is taxed, they were hoping to finance that whole department and pay for it out of that. Now, that doesn't leave a whole lot left for promotion. Now, granted, it's more than what they have now, but when you start paying her, she gets, I think, $46,000 in benefits, and whatever they break down of that. But that other person, that 24 hours a week, is going to be entirely, the way it sounded, paid out of that. So that's why, if you do what Jefferson did, great. If not, I think the chamber, it does not have to go to the county, no. If she's telling you that, she's telling you wrong.
No, she didn't tell me anything, I was talking to a trustee, I'm just trying to.
Oh, what, Jefferson Township trustee? And they're planning on giving it to her?
No,
Okay.
I'm saying if they enact that, they've already got
Yeah.
3,
Yeah.
and they passed it to where they can go to 6.
Yeah.
That's the limit.
Yeah.
But at the point in time they enact the other 3 additional, at that point, part of that can go to where they decide,
Yeah.
and the other part has to go to
No.
either
No.
the bureau or whoever you're talking about.
No. The half of this, and you can enact this one without having to enact the first one at the village. Half goes to your general fund. If you start collecting it, it goes to your general fund. That's off the table. You can give more if you want,
Yes.
but you can keep half. The other 1.5% goes to a convention and visitors bureau
Right.
of your name. And it can be the Preble one,
Right.
it can be, I will be the chamber, but be whatever one you want, be a third one.
I
But yeah,
understand.
you're right, that's, yeah, okay. I just wasn't following, I'm sorry. Anything else?
Any questions?
Sounds complicated.
It's really not, the way they presented it, when they came around 4 years ago, the OGDC, John Hartman was in there, they asked the township to do just what the township did now. They won't ask them to pay it. One of the ways of selling it, they said, you get to keep half of it,
Where's the money coming from?
It's coming out of hotels and motels. You don't have, in New Paris, it would come out of any B&Bs, it would come out of any money they collected off the cabins down here.
But they
or-
haven't collected anything yet.
No, but if you don't enact it, they will take it in half of
They
their
are.
general fund, and they'll name the Preble County,
And we won't get any.
If the village doesn't enact it, the
Well,
county
he
is.
never-
County's gonna do it, they're
If
gonna
they
take the money, and
enact
you're out.
We
That's
can
all.
enact it before they
That's
do.
simple.
It's the way it is.
And they won't get it, but if we let it go and they enact it, then they'll get it.
And even if we don't collect on it, at least we have it in the books, and then years down the road, if somebody would
Right.
do whatever, they
You
can
don't have
do
to
it.
enact, you can pass it without collecting.
Pass it without collecting.
Yeah.
Right.
But here's the whole thing, you don't get another shot next year to think about it, or come back in 5 years. If the county beats you to it, It's the county.
It's gone forever.
Yeah, it's done deal.
It's just like the license plate tax.
We just have to be a little bit in there before the
Yeah,
county.
right.
We have to be a little bit crookeder than the county, so
Not a
to
matter of
speak.
being crooked, it's just being quicker on the draw.
You gotta admit the county's pretty crooked in some.
Anyway, I wrote up this ordinance and if,
Once you read the title only, then we'll go from there.
okay. Ordinance 2011-11, ordinance levying a 3% lodging excise tax pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, Section 5739.09 in the Village of New Paris, Preble County, Ohio, declaring an emergency and waiving the free reading rules. Whereas the Ohio Revised Code 5739.09 authorizes a municipal corporation to levy an excise tax for any lawful purpose not to exceed 3% on transactions by which lodging by a hotel is or to be furnished to guests. You want me to read any more of it?
No.
It just pertains to, and if we don't have this in place, like the future, you don't know, New Paris might start booming
Exactly.
and then we would just be out. If, they might build a big hotel, if there was something, have a gambling about it.
Just have a gambling.
You would have wear and tear on your roads. It's like,
We passed this.
Go back to that verse.
Do we need to go ahead and name the chamber as,
I would, yeah.
you know,
It
I
isn't in here.
I think that would be, I thought that would be a safeguard. I don't know that much about it. I think if it push comes to shove though, that the chamber would be the ideal one with the billboard out there. If it ever needs collected.
It isn't in the ordinance that way.
But we
There's nothing in there, but
You can ask
we
the
can,
ordinance.
we can make a motion to it and then write something out.
Yeah, I don't know that even naming the Convention and Visitors Bureau is part of that ordinance. That's something you could do.
Township passed it without naming anybody, they can do it at a later date.
Yeah.
okay, then
Oh, okay.
We'll just go with the ordinance.
why don't we do that? What's everybody think? What do you guys think, Rick, Earl,
Yep.
Yeah.
Mary Jane?
Yeah, I'm
Katie?
for it. I'd rather have it on hold than the county come in and take it away from us.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I make a motion that we accept ordinance 2011-11.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Roll call roll.
Rick Van Winkle.
Yes.
Mary Jane Thomas.
Yes.
Gene Davies.
Yes.
Earl Walters. Yes.
Okay, now I need a motion to waive the three reading.
Oh, I make a motion we waive the three reading rules
Declare this an
and
emergency.
declare an emergency.
Second.
Rick Van Winkle.
Yes.
Mary Jane Thomas.
Yes.
Gene Davies.
Yes.
Earl Walters. Yes.
Okay.
I don't
Would you
know.
waive?
Yes.
I think I really don't figure it. I think it's the best deal for the chamber. I think it's a terrible time to be levying a tax on anybody. If you collect it, I don't think they need a tax down there. Yeah, you could use money to general fund, but, the economy stinks. I mean,
But you're talking about 6 cabins, how much is that gonna generate?
Is that all you have?
At $30 a night, 7 nights a week, it's
Yeah, I
$5.
don't know. I don't know. But the whole thing
Still,
is,
the fact is, it's on the books.
it's on the books, and you have it 30 years from now, you may have to dump it in here, and it's not going to go there, it goes here. And I think that's my opinion, it'd be better off
Okay.
for local determination.
I'd
And
like
that
to,
and that lodging thing, I read something not long ago that the state had considered putting that on all your campsites, motorhomes. No, right?
Well,
If it had electric and plumbing
he brings up.
attached to it, that they had looked into that. And boy, if that was the case,
He brings up a very good thing. While, if the county did this now, would have to go to Convention and Visitors Bureau. If you remember when Shonda was up here in January, she said there was a move to let it all go to the general fund, which means absolutely nothing would have to be spent on promoting this area or there. They give you the option. And she didn't come in and say, I'm a member, I'm here to promote, or I'm here
heck, you know.
well, as Preble County
Right.
employee, she came in and I said, I'm here as a representative of the Preble County Development Partnership, and we have no representation in the partnership, so.
That gives us some representation as part of it.
Well, yeah, if you do collectively, you know, if it ever amounts to anything, you could always buy a seat on there, and, but,
Buy a seat.
I don't think it's voice of the partnership, but that's up to you guys.
All right.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Yeah.
Guys, I gotta get back.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Rick, do you have any menus for evening? Because I've been passing out breakfast ones.
No, I'm in the process of making new ones up, so I'll get you some.
I have a couple people, they're doing genealogy, so I hope they made it up there.
Okay.
Give them enough menus.
Thank you.
See y'all.
Thanks.
See you.
You have another resolution.
You have two.
One.
Well, we already did one. The other was not effective at this time, that's what I thought.
This one? You still need to do that for the city of Hamilton,
Well,
regardless of what goes here. Do you know?
it's a little premature at this point. isn't it? I think if you do that and make it effective, then they're gonna want their money for setting up something that we may never ever do. Correct?
Good point.
At this point, I think it's just lying dormant.
Okay, let's do that. Now, any old business? Any business?
I think we ought to consider doing away with the police department for the next couple of months. I know nobody wants to, and I don't particularly want to, but we need to do something to save some money.
So you get rid of the people that protect you? You're sworn to oath to uphold and serve the people of this community. And
West Elton
taking
did it.
care of. I don't care what else Elton did.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you, that's the way to
You
save
got
some money.
business, you got 48 businesses in this town that need protection also.
With all the crazies running around, all the
Right,
drugs.
so you can have more crackheads move into town?
Yeah.
Go come into our slum board so they can go ahead and move in these shanties?
Well,
You want more of them in here? Not happening.
well, okay, I mean, that's just an idea, and it's
That
been
would be a
thrown
bad
at me.
move. That'd be a bad move.
Pardon?
It's a bad move as far as I'm concerned.
Well, okay, that's you're entitled to your
Absolutely.
vote,
And
and
you're
I'm
entitled to your
entitled to
opinion.
mine.
But anyway, I understand we have a referendum against our income tax, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, I think we need to send that down to the election board and make sure all the signatures are verified and whatever. And then I think later on, after that's done, we need to put this on the ballot. That's my opinion.
What, the referendum? Well, there
Absolutely.
again, it doesn't bother me, because I don't pay any taxes.
That's right.
So I don't care.
That's right. So but yet you want to do away with the police department?
I think that is an idea, either shorten their hours or do something. Now, you've got a police car that can be sitting, running, all 4 windows down or 2 windows down, air conditioning on. That doesn't save your gas. Put them out on the bicycle. I mean, we tried that
That's your
once.
opinion. That's your opinion, you're entitled to it. I don't agree with you, but that's your opinion.
Well, that's my opinion.
Okay, that's-
You have yours.
Without police, you're only gonna have chaos.
Well,
It's already chaos with
it's
them.
already chaos
The
with
days
it.
of Bill Knocker was gone, where one person could handle this. That's the thing of the past.
Well, I was
It is
thinking
never gonna happen
maybe
again.
3 people handle it.
Can I say something?
3, we got the chief, we got 2 part-timers, that's it. And
And get rid of all the other guys.
They only make $1.
they only work a day.
Why? We don't pay them.
Okay, now wait a minute. I know we don't pay them, but they use the cars, they use the...
One day a week, which gives these other guys a day off, and then that officer comes
But
in
then why
and
are
takes
we-
protection on Sundays or Saturdays when we need to have people here. So that we have coverage.
Well,
Because there is no sheriff's department
I called
Understand
down
that, there's
here,
no sheriff's department. You can
I
forget
called
that.
down here a week and a half ago. I wanted them to come get a dog that had bitten me.
Did you call the sheriff's department? Did you get an answer here?
I got an answer here.
Did you call, then you're supposed to call the sheriff's department, and have them dispatch an officer.
Okay, and there's the marks. He had my little dog on my
And
porch.
we've already heard all this, we've already talked about this. And did you contact the game warden? Who's supposed to take care of
Yes,
this?
I did, the dog warden, not the
And
dog.
what did he do?
He sat down there on his fat ass and didn't do it
Did
then.
you call Dave Westler?
No, why should I call him?
Because Dave Westler's the commissioner, he's their boss.
Okay, I'll call him.
You call him and
But
get it
that
straightened
dog
out.
is on my porch one day, about every 3 days, he's up there. So it's okay if I shoot the son of a bitch.
That's your choice.
I'm going to.
Go ahead, that's your
Because he
choice.
had my little
Go ahead.
white dog is shaking it.
Well, you do what you gotta do.
And I couldn't get
Do
a
what you
cop
gotta
up there
do.
to get it.
Do what you gotta do.
And then I've got a hard on for the police department. I don't mind admitting it.
Yes, you do. Thank you. We appreciate you tonight.
I admit it. But I would have a hard on anybody that didn't do their job the way they should. I mean, you should have come up and taken my report.
I think I was there.
Pardon?
I think I was there. I took
If you got a problem, Jeannie, if you got a problem, there's channels, shut up. There's channels that you need to go through. And one of them is filing your claim with the safety committee, and they'll have a hearing on that. If you don't get any justification there, then you take it to courts.
Well,
But you don't take it into your own hands.
I
and
do.
give these
He's on
guys
my
stick
porch
nose
with
in
my
these
dog
cars
in his
and
mouth.
giving these guys help. Because they'll take you to jail. You're doing the wrong thing. Even
but
whether
if
you're on
my
council
dog
or
is in
not.
his mouth,
Whether you're on the council or not, that doesn't give you any special purpose.
nobody says
Okay,
get on the
that's where
friggin'
we're
county.
gonna leave it, and that's where it's gonna end.
But what I'm saying is when a citizen calls, you need to come up. Because I've got the bite marks on my arm and they've been notified at the doctor.
Okay, we need to move on. We have no other communications. The next meeting will be August 1st, 2011 at 7 PM. Does anybody else have anything else?
Make a motion that we adjourn?
Is there a second? Roll call.
Rick Van Winkle,
Yes.
Mary Jane Thomas,
Yes.
Gene Davis.
Yes.
Earl Mullins.
Yes.
Don't forget about the Monday night meeting at the high school, National Trail.
I've got a meeting that night too.
Oh,
What is the meeting at the high school?
Northwest, I've got a meeting with the
It's
What's
Northwest.
the meeting at the high school?
it's the one with the Farm Bureau and the commissioners.
Can you
Oh,
handle
that's
that?
just coming Monday?
Can you do this?
The
When
11th,
is it?
Monday night,
Monday night, what time?
I think he said.
5:30.
I'll have to get back to that, I don't know. for sure, but Monday at 5:30.
Don't ask me, I didn't
At
know
the
when the
National
council
Trails?
meeting was.
National Trail?
We'll
I
make
didn't
sure
either,
that
for
before
sure.
all this happens and does whatever, okay?
Yeah, let me,
I'll do
let
what I
me,
can to do so.
let me get back to you.
Okay.
If I can, I'll let you know.
Meeting's adjourned.